Learning how to draw your own images and produce your own graphics has to be one of the targets of any aspiring publisher, if only because it will save you so much money in the beginning, not to mention being a long-lasting skill that will always benefit your business. So in this video, which was originally created for my Affinity Designer course, I have uploaded the basics and then updated it slightly to include a couple more steps. The first part is in Affinity Designer version 1, the second in Designer version 2, but you'll hardly see the difference other than the tool icons have had a facelift and a couple of the tools have moved, but that won't affect the process. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Jane Wollingale of Silverzone Printables, and I create videos for this channel based on low content publishing and printables for Etsy or similar platforms, and tips for using the Affinity suite to achieve that. And if that kind of thing interests you, then click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos like this. And if you find this video helpful, then please do click on the like button, which will help this video get seen and help me grow this channel. I really do appreciate it. We're going to cover using the pen tool to outline a basic shape such as this dolphin. I have found this image on the internet, brought it in to Designer, taken off and eliminated some of the other imagery that was around it, and just left the basic shape. And as I'm not sure about copyright, I clearly can't use the image as it is, but I can trace the outline and recreate as my own image. So we're going to use the pen tool, which is over here, and you can press P for the shortcut, and this brings up this little icon as the pen. And to get the basic shape, we are just going to click around at various points around the outside of the image, like so. And I will just quickly go around to create the basic shape, which is very rough, but it will give you the idea of how this works. And in general it works better if you get reasonably large gaps along these sections, because it gives better curves. And I'm going to go straight across the flipper because I will create the flipper separately. Okay, and then click on the last one to close the curve, and then click on the move tool to complete it. So that gives a very broad outline, and if I click on the outline mode, which is here, that takes the image away and you can just see the basic outline that I have drawn. So I'll turn that back on so you can see the image behind, and I am going to reduce the opacity on that so that the outline stands out somewhat better. And to do that, we go to Layer and choose the pixel layer that the image is on and change the opacity down to around about 50%, which means the outline will stand out better. And a tip when you're drawing around something like this is it's useful to lock by clicking on the little lock symbol or the pixel layer you're tracing, and then you won't accidentally pick it up when you're trying to pick up nodes later on. Okay, so the basic outline is drawn, and if I select the node tool and click on the outline and then change the stroke to be slightly thicker so that it stands out more, you'll make that about 3 point will do. So having drawn the outline, I am now going to change that to what they call smart curves. So to get rid of these sort of blocky corners, you select the whole area, so you'll see all the nodes will turn blue, and choose convert to smooth at the top here, and you will see that that rather blocky and square outline now becomes much more rounded. It's still only a very basic shape, but it is a better shape than it was. And if I turn the background off, you can see that much better. So I'm going to go around and just do exactly the same thing with some of these shapes so that I can fill them in. I will pause the video while I do that and I will come back. Okay, so I have added in these extra bits here. Let's just go back to the right pointer and change the colours slightly. This one's a wee bit dark, we'll bring that down a wee bit more, and thickened up the lines around here. So you can see I've now got the basic shape of the dolphin, and if I turn that image off, you can see the basic lines in there. So that will supply me with my outline that I want to put in any colouring book or any other graphic that I want to use it on. If you want to manipulate the outline further, by clicking on the nodes you can change the shape or move it round, and it takes a bit of practice to do, but it is well worth mastering the skill to be able to do this, because it will save you so much money in buying other people's graphics. And by changing the shape very slightly or changing the colours, this graphic then becomes totally your own and nobody else's, because it is altered enough. Although you have borrowed the shape, you haven't actually directly copied the whole image. So that first part of the video was recorded in version 1, and here was the finished outline which was supplied in my course. But I wanted to update this video to add in how to create the gradient pieces on the coloured section of it. It's grayscale, but it's still a gradient behind it, because I had traced the shapes of the shadows and I had traced the shape of the flipper. By separating them onto different layers, and Affinity does that, Affinity Designer does that automatically, creates layers for each line you draw, you can change the colours quite easily. So if I turn off some of these layers, you can see better the gradient colours on the bits underneath. And to do that, you'd come across to the left hand side here on the toolbar and choose the fill tool, click on type and choose which of the gradient styles you want. So you could have it solid, you could have it linear as it was, except it's changed the axes of the gradient. So I want to keep it as a linear gradient, but I want the shadow to go from top to bottom. So if I move these endpoints, which are the colours, to the positions I want the gradient to go in, you can see how that changes the shape, or the illusion of the shape of the dolphin. If you want to change these colours, then you click up here on the colour section, on the colour box in the top context bar, and you click on the colour you want to change, and then you click on the colour box and you choose the colour you want to change it to, and as you can see that changes it live across the image. Now if I turn the top layer back on again, this now has the upper dark area that I had before. I also wanted you to see that the tools down the left hand side here are not so very different from version 1. I've been Jane Willingale of Silver Zone Printables. Thanks for watching. Till next time.